Julie York, right?
Yes.
I got that right, at least. Where are you from?
I'm from Massachusetts.
You are from Mass, but you're from faraway lands in Massachusetts.
Danvers.
Danvers.
And if you haven't heard of Danvers, Salem is the next town over, and everyone
course.
knows Salem. So.
Right. I'm sure you tell people from out of state, they ask where that is, and
Yeah.
they say, oh, Salem.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But they don't know, of course, exactly where Salem is.
Yeah.
They just have heard of
I
it.
just say straight up 95. You'll get there eventually.
Right. So when people ask me, I say Fall River, and they say, where? And I say Lizzie Borden, and they say, oh, the murder, yeah. I say, we've had several since. We don't know about.
Not so famous though.
No. But tell us a little bit about yourself anyway.
I'm 22, and I just recently graduated from RIC with a film studies degree. And
That's Rhode Island College.
Yeah, Rhode Island College.
Right, no, just to clarify.
And I had a film studies and communications degree. Yeah.
Okay. So with that, how'd you find out about coming here, hurricaneradio.net?
My friend Megan, who's the other co-host of the Ladies Room, had called me up June 29th, and I remember that date because I was baking cupcakes for my sister's wedding that night, so I think I made like 150. And she called me, and I kept going back and forth to the oven, and I was like, okay, hold on, and, you know. So she told me about it, she answered the Craigslist ad, and she called me, and I came down, and here we are.
Great. So what made you respond immediately to it then? I mean, did it really come out and grab you?
It seemed like a really interesting opportunity. I never really thought of radio. I more thought of myself doing like TV production, like behind the scenes. Though this is also behind the scenes, but it was just a different aspect of my communications degree. So I figured I would pursue that.
Great. And well, speaking of that, coming here, what was your first impression of getting here into the studio? And had you even been to Fall River before?
No. Okay, so I got a little lost. And I found my way, and I don't know, the studio's really cool. I'd never been to a radio station before, so it's very interesting.
Yeah. So with that sentiment, do you feel, I guess, nervous or excited about that? A little bit in between?
Not so much
what are your
nervous.
feelings anyway?
Not so much nervous, I'd say anxious to see it all happen. So anxious and excited.
Great.
And, yeah.
Great. Where do you think it's going to go?
I don't know. We'll
And I
have
guess
to see.
I guess what I'm asking about that is,
do I see good things
do you
happening?
see good things happening?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have a show that's going to be on. What are the days that we listen to it and the times?
It's Monday through Friday, 1 to 3, and it's called the Ladies Room.
It's called the Ladies Room.
Yes, so that means we talk about everything, any and everything.
And I've heard that it's called affectionately now The View with an Edge.
Yeah, I've heard that. I don't really like that because The View is for older ladies and we're younger ladies.
Well, that's what Megan and I were talking about before. Is this going to be The View for, the 30 years younger than The View crowd?
Yeah, you could say that. We're definitely going to talk about everything though.
And I'm sure you have guests on as well. What type of guests do you think you'll have on?
More just anyone who's our friend, who we think would have a good personality, who can offer everything, because that's what we need.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And on a different note, we talked about the first impression of you coming in here, first impression of Fall River, first impression of the studio. What was your first impression of the Hurricane himself?
I had never heard of him, and he was just very loud and outgoing, and I'm loud and outgoing, so we got along pretty well.
That was a kind description of you.
I try. I don't like to be mean.
That was very nice. So he did come across as really helpful. That's what Megan mentioned that before too.
Though, the one thing I don't like is that he'll write in caps all the time, especially on my Facebook, so I may need to talk to him about that.
Right. And people always tell him, they say, Mike, that implies that you're yelling at people. That implies that you're talking loudly.
Yeah.
And he always says, I am talking loudly.
All right, I guess it
so he answers that fine. So again, it's great because this is a new venture that you're in, something that you've never really done before, something that no one else in this building really has ever done specifically before. Do you see it succeeding?
Yeah, absolutely.
And if the answer is yes, what do you think is going to make it succeed?
Just everyone's drive. I mean, sorry. I think everyone's drive is going to help to make it succeed because we're all excited. And, I know there are some people who have been here like late at night, early in the morning, and you know, just advertisers and sales and just working hard to make it happen.
Great. What are your strengths?
I guess you could say I'm an outgoing person. I don't know if that qualifies as a strength, but
Of course it is.
okay, good. So I'm an outgoing person, and I like to talk to strangers and anyone. So that's a strength.
Okay. Okay. The next question is obviously what are your weaknesses, and I think talking to strangers can be included in that one as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I have an anxiety problem because here we are talking to strangers. If it turns out they're not a happy stranger or someone good to talk to, I may become anxious. And I had been saying before, I am anxious to get this started. So
Great.
yeah.
Great. And we can't wait to have a bunch of new strangers listen to you in the ladies' room.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay.
And talk to them.
Great. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.